Monday Night Raw starts off with Jey Uso. Starts off with Jey Uso, makes his incredible entrance. The crowd is hyped. The crowd ended up doing what they've been doing for the past 2 weeks, where that he stops and then they ask him to do it one more time, to start do the little yeet dance one more time. He ends up going to the announce table. The music is playing. He starts yeeting, and then you get Gunther interrupting and end up attacking Jey Uso while he was yeeting on the announce table. And then he ends up attacking Jey Uso. He ends up hitting a power bomb. He ended up hitting two power bombs, if I'm not mistaken, because he ended up leaving the ring, coming back in the ring, breaking away from security, hit another power bomb. Then he ends up leaving. Then you get Jey Uso. He's slowly recovering, gets to the microphone, and he ends up picking Gunther as his opponent for WrestleMania. Gunther ends up coming back, try to come back and tries to attack Jey Uso again, but Jey Uso ends up attacking him before he can enter the ring and ends up hitting a suicide dive, and that's how we end the segment. I like what they did here. This was great. We finally know who Jey Uso picked for his WrestleMania opponent, which I predicted it probably would have been Gunther. I just feel like it made more sense, especially with all the people who are probably going to be in the Elimination Chamber with Seth, Drew, and Punk. It only makes sense for all of them to want to go after Cody than to go after Gunther. They just have more history with Cody. It only makes sense. This was really good. I think the feud and the build up towards it, towards Mania with Gunther Jay will be amazing. I can't wait to see how this plays out. I thought this was a really good segment. I really enjoyed what they did here. After this, we end up getting Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Io Sky and but Damage Control. I don't know why I was about to say Dakota Kai. Damage Control, basically. This was a really good match. This match actually shocked me. I wasn't really expecting much, but this was a really good match. Damage Control picked up the victory. Now, the main thing I want to talk about with this is throughout the show, they kept on showing Rhea Ripley and Io Sky constantly having back and forth, constantly having stare downs. Because Rhea Ripley feels bad for costing Io Sky her championship opportunity, and in this episode she ended up talking to Adam Pearce, and 3 weeks from now, after Elimination Chamber, the Monday Night Raw after Elimination Chamber, she would get a title opportunity against Rhea Ripley. So that's going to be very interesting, and the fact that they're having that match after Elimination Chamber is kind of weird. So this could be another trick. This could be another Saturday night main event thing where they allude to having her not, like, kind of like what they did with Jey Uso, like where he loses the week before Royal Rumble and then wins the Rumble. I don't know if they're tricking us and making it where she's gonna lose, because she's gonna lose on that Monday Night Raw, where she lose and then somehow finds a way to get into the match at Mania. They could do that. I don't know. But clearly they're planning something between Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. I'm just a bit confused on how they're doing it, because I just assumed that she would just get a last chance qualifying match and that's how she gets to the Elimination Chamber, and then she'll just win there. But we'll see how this plays out overall. I am somewhat interested to see how they're gonna play this story, because it is very confusing on who can possibly even face Rhea Ripley if it ain't Io Sky. Even though the match will be a banger, do I really care for it? Not really, but Io Sky, with the way they're booking the women, she's really the only logical choice as of right now. After this, we end up getting Bayley versus Lara in an elimination qualifying match. Not gonna really go that in depth on this. It was a really good match. Bayley picks up the victory. Only makes sense for Bayley to pick up the victory. Lyra Valkyria doesn't really need the victory. It just wouldn't have made sense either. So it only made sense for Bayley to be in an elimination chamber match. Don't really need to go that in depth on it, to be honest. Afterwards, we end up getting the return of AJ Styles. He was cutting a promo. He was mentioning his injury, him getting injured, and him possibly having to retire. But then you end up getting Dominic Mysterio and Carlito. They end up coming out. Dominic basically ends up saying that, look, things have changed since he's been gone, and that basically the Judgment Day runs Monday Night Raw. Then you get AJ Styles. He ends up mentioning Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. And then he basically ends up saying that he is nothing more than just Rey Mysterio's punk kid. Dominic tries to attack, but AJ Styles saw it coming, and AJ Styles ends up taking out Dominic Mysterio and Carlito. This leads to later in the show where AJ Styles asks for a match with against Dominic Mysterio for to Adam Pearce. So next week we're gonna get Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles. But then We end up getting a stare down after that segment between Braun Breaker and AJ Styles, which I actually really like. Really like what they did there. I wouldn't mind seeing that at Mania. I really would. Now, most people are assuming that Sheamus will be the Mania match, which I also assumed as well. But I wouldn't mind it. This could also be an Elimination Chamber match as well, but I don't know what they're gonna do with AJ Styles. I wouldn't that feud. I think that feud and that match would cook. AJ Styles versus Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship. I think that would be a great match, great feud as well. I think they could tell a great story as well. I hope that they actually pull the trigger on that match, whether it's for the Elimination Chamber or a Mania. It works for me either way. But next week we're gonna see him face Dominic Mysterio. This is just filler for him to just slowly get him back. I don't know what's the main plans for him, especially with us being with him returning at this time frame. So I'm interested to see what they do. But this little mini feud with the Judgment Day is just filler, just to buy some time for the most part. After this, we end up getting American Made versus the War Raiders. This was a really good match. Really enjoy what they did here. But towards the end of the match, the War Raiders about to pick up the victory, but you end up getting I think it was Julius Creed, if I'm not mistaken. He ended up getting the world championships. Yeah, he ended up getting the belts. Ended up attacking Ivar with the belt, causing a disqualification. Then they attacked them after the match, and then they end up holding the championships over their bodies. I like what they did here. I did like what they did here because I just assumed that the War Raiders was just going to pick up the victory and that's it, and that's the end of the feud. But I do like the disqualification factor because this can easily lead into another match, especially with them playing the story of Chad Gable trying to overcome luchadors. We don't know who's training him on that, so we got to see who's training him on that. Then you got Ivy Nile, so I'm assuming Ivy Nile most likely is going to lose her match. We just don't know when she's going to have her match because I think she made her. I think she initially approached Lyra. I think it was last week, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was the week before, if I'm not mistaken. It could have been the week before, but we don't know when Lyra and Ivy Nile is going to have their match. Maybe it's going to happen next week. I don't know, but they're supposed to have their match. I like what they did here. I like it's not just a one and done thing where they just lose and then that's it. I like they're continuing this because I don't know what other tag team we even faced the War Raiders either. Because I don't even know. The only other team I can think of is maybe A-Town Down Under, but I really just don't. I just don't want to see that, to be honest. So I like what they did here. I really like what they did here, and I'm interested to see how this plays out. Then we get the main event: Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio for the Elimination Chamber qualifying match. This was a really good match. Logan Paul picks the victory. Don't really need to go that in depth on it. But after the match, we end up getting the New Day attacking Rey Mysterio. Okay, so I'm not gonna say I'm confused by this. I'm just more like, really, though. Like this is. I mean, I'm not mad at it. I just kind of like, can we move on from the New Day and Rey Mysterio? Like I'm kind of like, I just feel like the New Day should be doing something more, especially with their heel turn. I feel like they should be doing more around this time. Kind of just feel like they should be in that championship picture. Like I feel like they should be doing what American Made is doing. That's just me. I feel like they should be doing what the Creed brothers did, attacking the War Raiders. That's just me. I don't understand it, but maybe this is going to lead to something bigger. Overall, this was a solid show. Nothing major. Story slowly progressed, but this was a solid show overall. But you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But yeah, that's it.